and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded, absolutely disrespectful. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
Caitlin Clark is down on the court, unable to defend herself, when a closed fist appears to strike her directly in the throat. It happens in full view of the officials, yet no whistle is blown. No foul is called. Play simply continues as if nothing unusual happened. Within minutes, the video spreads across social media. Fans are stunned. Many can't believe that one of the league's biggest stars could take such a hard hit without the referees stepping in. The frustration grows fast, and people begin asking the same question. How could the officials miss something that looked so obvious? Then the cameras shift toward Fever head coach Stephanie White. Most fans expect an emotional reaction. After all, her franchise player has just taken a dangerous hit. Instead, White stays surprisingly calm. She speaks carefully and chooses her words with caution. Rather than calming the situation, her measured response creates a brand new controversy. Almost immediately, fans begin criticizing her. Many believe she should have shown more urgency in defending Clark. Others wonder if she was holding back because she knew every word would be analyzed. Whatever the reason, her first reaction leaves many people disappointed. As the debate grows louder, another question starts to surface. Did White truly underestimate how serious the play looked, or was she intentionally trying to avoid making the situation even bigger? That uncertainty only fuels more speculation. The conversation quickly expands beyond one missed call. Some fans begin asking whether the WNBA has become so accustomed to physical play that even coaches no longer react when their own stars take dangerous contact. Others wonder something even more troubling. If Clark's own coach doesn't immediately fight for her, then who will? Those questions become impossible to ignore. But that's only the beginning. As more people watch the replay, the criticism intensifies, and Stephanie White soon finds herself under increasing.
It's a miracle. It is a miracle. For the first time so far, Stephanie White has actually defended Caitlin Clark publicly. So, do I wish Stephanie White had crashed out during the game? Yes. Let's not get it twisted. If Stephanie White crashes out during the game and stops the play, if she's able to get the game to stop, the referees look at the monitor and clearly toss Alyssa Thomas. Everybody will realize that. Everyone knows. They would have tossed Alyssa Thomas. Nobody can look at that replay. Even the commentators are like, oh, that's a fist to the neck. Everyone knows that that's an ejection.
At first, it sounds like Stephanie White is finally standing up for Caitlin Clark. She publicly criticizes the officials, and many fans see it as a step in the right direction. But not everyone is convinced. One analyst praises White for finally speaking out, yet immediately points out a much bigger problem. According to him, defending your star player after the game isn't the same as protecting her when the incident actually happens. And that's where the real debate begins. The moment Clark was struck in the throat, White had an opportunity to act. Had she immediately stopped play by demanding a review, the officials may have had no choice but to take another look. If that replay had been shown on the monitor, many believe the outcome could have been completely different. To many viewers, the contact looked obvious. Fans watching from home saw it. The television commentators reacted to it in real time. Social media exploded within minutes. So why didn't the strongest response come from the person standing closest to the action? That's the question many people are still asking. If everyone else recognized how serious the play appeared, why wasn't there an immediate push for the officials to review it? Why did the strongest criticism come only after the final buzzer, when the game was already over and public opinion had taken over? Those questions continue to fuel the conversation. The reality is that speaking up after the fact may help shape the public narrative, but it doesn't change what happened on the court. Once the opportunity to stop play disappears, so does the chance to influence the official's decision. That's why many fans believe the most important moment wasn't the post-game press conference. It was the few seconds immediately after the contact occurred. Leadership isn't judged only by what someone says afterward. It's often judged by how quickly they respond when everything is happening in real time. And that's exactly why this moment remains.
In here aware of what happened 2 nights ago? And that still happens? Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
This is the moment when Stephanie White's message becomes impossible to ignore. Speaking to reporters after the game, she repeats the same phrase over and over. Absolutely unacceptable. Not once, not twice, but 3 different times in less than half a minute. That wasn't an accident. It wasn't just emotion taking over. It sounded like a coach who had finally reached her limit after watching the same problem happen again and again. And that's what makes this moment different. White isn't just talking about one missed call. She's pointing to something much bigger. She reminds everyone that a similar situation happened only 2 nights earlier, suggesting this wasn't an isolated mistake. From her perspective, the officials had already seen warning signs but failed to correct them. That's a serious accusation. Because if the referees were already aware of the issue, why did another controversial play happen so soon afterward? Then White brings up another incident that raises even more questions. She refers to a reckless closeout that officials actually reviewed. Even after watching the replay, they chose not to upgrade the foul. For many fans, that's difficult to understand. If replay is supposed to eliminate obvious mistakes, how can a play be reviewed frame by frame and still leave so many people believing the wrong decision was made? That question sits at the center of the controversy. It also leads to another concern. Are officials simply making mistakes? Or is there a deeper problem with how certain players are being officiated? Many Clark supporters believe she's taking heavy contact that isn't being called consistently. Whether that's true or not continues to divide fans, but the conversation has become impossible to ignore. What stands out most is White's willingness to address the issue publicly. By repeatedly calling the situation absolutely unacceptable, she's making it clear that she no longer views these incidents as random errors.
But this is Stephanie White after the game, and I'm glad she said it. And I wish she dealt with it better in real time. I wish you pull a Cheryl Reeve, you run onto the floor and get teed up. Why do you run onto the floor and get teed up? Because if you run onto the floor and get teed up, Caitlin's still on the ground holding her face. If you get yourself teed up in that scenario, the play stops. The reason why the refs don't stop, don't look at things, is because they all missed it at the time, and it was a live ball. Force a dead ball. If you force a dead ball, and you crash out enough, even if you get teed up, you can just point to your player and just be like, look at the monitor, you missed this. Like, and there's always a chance they look at it, because if they look at it, AT's gone.
This is where the debate takes an even more interesting turn. Many fans have focused on Stephanie White's comments after the game. But some analysts believe the biggest mistake happened long before she ever stepped in front of a microphone. Their argument is surprisingly simple. The moment Caitlin Clark went down, White could have forced the officials to pay attention. How? By making enough of a scene to stop the game. It may sound dramatic, but experienced coaches have used this strategy before. Sometimes taking a technical foul, or even risking an ejection, is worth it if it forces officials to pause the action and take another look at what just happened. In this case, that opportunity disappeared almost instantly. Because play continued without interruption, the officials never had a reason to stop the game and review the contact. Once the ball stayed live, the chance to examine the play was gone. And many people believe that changed everything. Imagine if White had immediately rushed onto the court, demanding answers and refusing to let the game continue. Would the referees have been forced to review the play? Would the outcome have been different? We'll never know. But those questions continue to fuel the debate. Supporters of this argument believe that a coach's job isn't only to draw up plays or manage rotations. It's also to protect star players when emotions are running high and the officials may have missed something important. In moments like these, staying calm isn't always the best option. Sometimes, showing controlled frustration can completely change the direction of a game. Many veteran coaches understand that. They know an emotional reaction can create a dead ball, giving officials time to slow everything down and review a controversial play. That's why some critics believe White missed her biggest opportunity. Not during the press conference, but during those first few seconds after the contact. Her later comments were strong.